Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Center of Hope. Tonight we will be going over Genesis chapter 29. I thought if I had to title this message, it would be Dealing with Ugly Situations. Throughout our life, we will face the good, the bad, and the ugly. See God's favor, doors are opening, we can handle the bad. We didn't get the promotion, neighbor talking about us, that's just life. There are other situations, only way to describe them are just ugly. A medical report we never thought we would be facing this. Someone we counted on walked away. It's easy to get discouraged, thinking, God, where were you? God, won't you allow a difficulty if He's not going to use it for your purpose? Everything is served in His plan. Not just the good, but the bad and the ugly also. When it's not fair, when life throws us a curve, if you go through the suffering with the right attitude, through the hardship, trusting God's in control, then God will make something beautiful out of the ugly. You will reach levels of your destiny you would never have reached without the ugly times. These ugly times are uncomfortable. We'd prefer to never have to deal with it, but they are necessary to become all you were created to be. You don't grow as much in the good times as in the difficult times. You're stretched. Your faith increases, your endurance, your trust. David said, you enlarged me in my distress. No one likes the ugly seasons, but that's when God does some of His greatest work. Preparing you for something you've never seen. That's what happened with Jacob when he moved to a new city and was working for his uncle named Laban. He had two daughters, Rachel and Leah. Rachel was extremely attractive, stunning. According to scripture, she was lovely in every way, a lovely face and a shapely figure. Everyone admired her beauty. She was a knockout. But her older sister, Leah, not so much. Scripture says Leah had weak eyes. One translation says she was dull looking. Not very often Scripture describes someone's physical appearance. This has a deeper meaning, because everyone is a masterpiece made in the image of God, the apple of His eye. The symbolism here is Rachel is beautiful and Leah is ugly. When Jacob saw Rachel, he didn't think twice. It was love at first sight. In the Bible days, women were treated almost like property. You had to buy them. Jacob went to Laban and said, I'm going to make a deal with you. I'll work 7 years for Rachel if you will let me marry her. Laban shook his hand and agreed to the deal. Jacob was so in love with Rachel, he couldn't wait for the time to pass. He worked hard and was faithful. He increased Laban's flock. He was glad to do it. He knew something good was coming from it. Beautiful Rachel was about to be his wife. 7 years came to an end, and Laban had a wedding. Everyone came, family and friends. Back then, the bride wore a thick veil. You couldn't see who it was until after the ceremony. They went home, and when Jacob woke up, he looked over, and it wasn't Rachel. It was Leah. I'm sure he nearly passed out. He didn't see the beautiful face he dreamed about. He saw weak eyes staring at him. No offense, but he didn't work that hard that long for something that dull. He went straight to Laban. This is not what we agreed to. I didn't ask for the unattractive one. I asked for the beautiful one. How many times we've prayed for Rachel and received Leah. Like Jacob, we worked hard. We did the right thing. We were expecting Rachel. Rachel is the promotion. But Leah showed up, something unfair, something you didn't see coming. Laban was dishonest. He didn't keep his word. In his defense, in those days, the father was responsible for giving the oldest daughter in marriage first. That was the tradition. That was being an honorable father, not overlooking the older. Laban said, if you work for me another 7 years, I'll give you Rachel. Jacob wasn't happy, but he agreed. He worked 7 more years in an unfair situation. He was taken advantage of. It may have been protocol, but Laban should have told him and not tricked him. Here's the key. Jacob didn't complain, wasn't disrespectful to Leah. She wasn't his choice, but he didn't blame her. Why are you unattractive? You're not who I wanted. He did the right thing when it was hard. He kept being his best in an ugly situation. At the end of the 7 years he married Rachel, he saw the promise come to pass. Rachel represents what we're believing for, our dreams, good health, joy, peace. We all want Rachel, but often Leah shows up first, something we didn't want. What will you do in the ugly situation will determine if you get stuck there or you come into the beautiful things God has for you. You may be in an ugly time right now. Things haven't turned out the way you had hoped. You can get bitter, give up on your dreams, or be like Jacob and do the right thing when it's unfair. Keep being your best when life throws you a curve. Rachel is coming. What God promised is still en route. Leah is a test. The ugly situation is where you have to prove to God what you're made of. Anyone can get sour. Forget you, Laban. This is unfair. If you don't deal with Leah properly, you will never see Rachel. It was necessary. Leah came first. Was it a coincidence? That's just how the story panned out. No, it was ordained by God. We can't see it at the time how any good could come out of this situation. When we were betrayed, have an illness, lost a loved one, it may not be fair, but without it, you couldn't become all you were created to be. It's depositing something in you, stretching, getting you prepared for things greater than you've imagined. Jacob married Rachel and Leah. He never loved Leah. Scripture says she was disliked. She felt unwanted. She had baby after baby, thinking that would cause Jacob to change his mind and fall in love. But Jacob never did. He was respectful, but didn't show her affection, didn't spend time with her. He loved Rachel. He was drawn to her, her beauty, her smile, the way she made him feel. Over time, Rachel and Leah both had children. Leah had a son named Judah. It was thousands of years later, the Messiah would come through the tribe of Judah. Jesus was born through Leah's family line. After this ugly situation came, something magnificent came out of it. God didn't know what he is up to. God don't know what he is up to. I didn't write or something. God uses things we don't like. Leah is necessary. God is working behind the scenes. Stay in faith. Keep trusting. You don't see Rachel if you don't deal with Leah properly. And in the end, Jacob decided to be buried beside Leah.